we have something exciting for the people who have joined here for the first time also, right, Ruchika?
Absolutely correct, Nitish. So, we welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. The Resume Workshop Part 2, which is being organized by Uni Athena. Uh, I would like to introduce the panelist, my co host today, Nitish Nair, everyone.
And we have my co-host Ruchika here, and we both are going to give you a lot of insights to make this workshop super one for everyone out there. Because as everybody knows, resume is something which is very, very, very important for your job aspects. So on that note, I welcome once again everyone. I could see a lot of messages coming upon. Good morning, good evening. We welcome you all. We are so happy that you are here to experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what do you say, Nitish? Should we start
Yes, we can
the
start.
first
So, as the people are
icebreaker?
chipping in, as usual, this is our trend. Let's start with a beautiful icebreaker so that everybody just settles in. And of course, let's have fun also, right? Because fun always begins in the first. Then we are going to go to the professional step. So, as everybody can see here, this is the icebreaker number one. Okay, so what you guys have to do is I will read out the question. There will be four options, and you need to answer in the chat box what, according to you, is the correct answer. So let me just read out the question for you. Which emoji best represent your career journey so far? I repeat the question. Which emoji best represents your career journey so far? There are four options here. As you could see, we have tried to create a little different. So you can even answer by using your emoji. First is like a business professional briefcase, always ready for the next challenge. Second is like a creativity pad or the painting craft where you're a creative thinker turning ideas into reality. Third is a bulb. Are you an innovator constantly seeking new solutions? Or like a globe, global citizen passionate about making a difference? I could see a lot of people have put the hearts on the chat. It looks beautiful, right,
Yeah,
Ruchika?
I
As you could
can.
see the options.
Yes, I can see a lot of suitcases also coming in, a lot of globe bulb suitcase. Okay, that's it looks like a tie. What do you think, Nitish?
Somebody,
What is your answer going to be?
well, if I have to be there, it's always creative. I love that creative thinker. I like to turn the pain red with my thinking, whether in terms of work or anything, because ideas always should go. And so I would choose the creative thing. What about you, Ruchika? Which one you would select?
Well, I will go with most of the our audience here. I will be a business professional with the suitcase, always
Ah,
ready for the next challenge. So yeah, I'm with
yeah,
A.
yeah. As you could see now, like a lot of people have selected Ruchika's thing. After that, I could see very few arts. There are certain people I could see in the chat box, but majorly, I love the way people chose the option A, that is business professional, always ready for the next challenge. By default, that also showcases our participants, right, Ruchika? They are like super
Absolutely.
excited about
Absolutely.
like their career and they always look forward what is the next challenge. They are not afraid of the challenges here. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
everyone. So I guess major answers, and I could also see like global citizen, the globe, passionate about making a difference.
Yes.
So I'm really happy that people love change. A change can really
It's a
make a
mixed bunch.
difference. It's a mixed
Absolutely.
bunch. And I could also see certain people using different emoji, but always welcome. That's also a creative. I'm gonna consider them in my category. So thank you so much, guys, for icebreaker one. So let's go to the icebreaker two. So Ruchika, would you like to go ahead for the icebreaker two?
Sure. So this is a very interesting question. If you were stranded on an interview island, okay, this is an interview island, which survival skill would you master? Would you master number one, charisma, charm, which means persuasion and charm to win over any interviewer, or two, resilience reservoir, which means bouncing back from tough questions with ease, or number three, preparation paradise, which means always ready with well researched answers and insights, or number four, adaptability archipelago, which means flexibility and quick thinking in any situation. All right, so we have our answers with us. Number 4, adaptability seems like a hit. Number 3, number 1. All right.
You see a lot
Yes,
of things. What do
Nitish.
you think, Ruchika?
Same question to you.
Okay, first of
One,
all, I
two,
would
three, or four.
love to see what that island looks like, right? Because it is an interview island. I will get so many interviews. Imagine having a job like that in an island, right? But I would say, I would go for preparation paradise because, like I
Mhm.
said, it's an island full of interviews, right? So
Survival
I should
skills.
always be ready with the right answers and insights. So that also makes me prepared as well as what is currently happening. But again, I wanted to select the fourth option also because suddenly I need to be flexible and quick thinking in any situation because there will be multiple options, right? What about you, Ruchika? What would you select?
Well, because this is a fun question, we can, I think adaptability, I would say. Yeah. Having said that, Nitish, I think you need all of these, right? All the skills are required in an interview because you never know what question comes your way from the interviewer. So you have to be on your toes, quick thinking, be prepared, right? I'm sure you all will agree with us.
Perfect, perfect. But who's the winner here, Ruchika? Who has got the maximum thing?
I think fourth has got the maximum till now. So thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank you
participating
so
in this
much,
icebreaker
everyone.
question.
Yeah, fourth is amazing. I'm happy that you guys love to adapt and quick thinking is there. I love the audience here already, Ruchika. They are super
Yeah.
excited.
Yes. Yes. All
Okay,
right.
okay.
So let's talk about the agenda, Nitish. What are we going to do in this workshop?
Yes. So as you guys may see, this is the agenda. This is some of the things which we're gonna do today. Okay. First, like I said, this is like a part two session. Okay. So we are gonna give like a little glimpse about a recap kind of a thing, which certain people might know because it's like continued. But having said that, you guys can always watch part two, then go to part one. It's completely fine. It's just that certain things are aligned, which we need to give like a recap. That's why it's written overview and recap. Then we are going to talk about certain resume related generic questions which everybody should be knowing. So we are going to discuss various domains where certain questions you should be knowing. These are the basic questions. Then we are going to give a light about the job hunting and a little bit about the cover letter thing. Then we are also going to talk about how to research a company, then followed by telephonic interviews, situational questions, then the attire, and a little bit about interpersonal skills, networking email, and the job scams. So this is like a small agenda, but we are going to discuss everything in detail along with poll questions in between, because in between, to make your session more fun, like how we had the icebreaker now, we are going to have like mini polls where it will just launch live. Whenever there is a screen coming poll time, the screen will pop up and you can select a particular poll. We will be reading out the question. One poll will be read by me, one poll will be read by Ruchika, and four options will be there. You can select in that way. The segment also gets fun, right? So I
Yes.
guess, Ruchika, we are good to go then.
Absolutely. And also, I can see a lot of questions about our part one. So feel free to, look for our resume workshop part one on YouTube and on our Uni Athena website also. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the same. What is it that we covered in workshop one? We spoke about how to create an effective resume. Okay. Now, what is to be included, what is to be not included, what has to be highlighted? We've spoken about it in detail in workshop one. How do you prepare various templates and which template fits where? Okay, like all medicines don't, cater to all different kinds of um, issues or diseases. Similarly, there are various resume templates that serve different companies or depending upon your job designation. All right. We've spoken about it in detail there. Also, what is ATS, which is applicant tracking system. We've spoken about it in detail in workshop one. And how do you prepare your resume to be ATS friendly so that the company selects your application? Okay. So please do visit the workshop one video to catch up on whatever we've covered so far. All right.
Like
All
how
right.
perfectly Ruchika said, like a glimpse about recap. For the people who were asking about where you could see the part one, you guys can always check out our Uni Athena YouTube page. You can always watch it. You will just click on resume workshop. You can see we have discussed this. Along with, I just wanted to add one more line. We have also discussed various types of resumes there. So that is something interesting which you will be seeing in the part one where we're going to talk profile resumes, which is chronological resume, functional resume, combination, infographic, and federal resume, where we have given depth and examples about how your resume is looking like. Okay. But having said that, this is just a recap of what we did, and we are ready to go for part two because everybody was in requesting that we need a part two for further things. That we are here to give you more insights of what we have, right, Ruchika?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Nitish.
Yes.
So let's start
Yes.
this workshop now with moving on to the next slide. All right. So we start again with a poll. Okay. So all our participants, are you all ready?
So, like I said, there will be a poll in between. So, we are going to start with poll. As you may see here, Ruchika, would you like to read that?
Sure. So if the resume were a dish, what would it be? Okay. The first option is spicy chili packed with hot skills and experience. Number two is a sushi platter, well presented and diverse. Number three is a classic burger, traditional yet satisfying. I agree. Number four is a fruit salad, fresh and colorful, covering various aspects. If you have to, let's assume that you want to present your resume as a dish, where do you think it will fit in out of these four options?
So, for the
There are
people who
people
could not see, it
asking
is right
access
on
the
the
poll. Yeah.
screen, guys. Poll is just right on the screen. You have to select one of the options and you can vote. So, I want you to vote here, and we will also show you the result. And the people who could not get that thing, they can always put it in the chat box as well. So Ruchika, what do you think like this poll? Like this list looks very yummy. I'm already feeling hungry with all the options out here.
I know. I think
All are tempting.
mine will be a classic burger, traditional
Uh,
yet satisfying. So ensuring all the criteria is met, yet keeping the resume up to date. What's going to be your option, Nitish?
I so wanted to say spicy chili, but that's not coming there, right? So I'm gonna have a combination of classic burger and fruit salad. Like how you said, it has to be traditional as well as it is also shows like various creativity to it. Like I said, I'm into creativity mode, so it would be a combination of classic burger and fruit salad,
All right.
right?
Yes.
So I guess like 20 more seconds and then we will know the results of poll number one, right? I could also see certain people saying sushi and spicy chili and everything. Okay. So can we have the result, please, for poll number one? Yes. See, a lot of people went for spicy chili. I so knew it.
Wow. Okay.
People
It's
want with hot
interesting
skills
to
and
read the
experience.
answers. So
Yeah.
35% with spicy chili, 31 with sushi platter, 21 with fruit salad, and surprisingly 13 with classic burger. All right.
No worries.
That's
You
good to
had
see.
there, they loved your suitcase there. Now they loved my spice chili here.
That's all right.
Okay, thank you guys for actively participating like that. We are gonna come up with more polls in between when we are talking about certain things, right? Yes.
All right. So let's talk about resume generic questions. Now, before we talk about this, Nitish, what is that one question that you think you've been asked in every interview?
Yeah. Apart from showing up at the interview, they always ask me, introduce, take me through the resume, or just introduce. Sometimes you get
Introduce.
super bored about just introducing, or just walk through, right? Because in our mind, sometimes you feel like, oh, this person has read our resume. Why is that person asking us again? Right? Everything is written. I have made it so good. with proper fonts and textures, but still, can you walk through your resume? So that is something which always my first question, Ruchika, people
Yeah.
usually comes up.
That's true. And that's our first question also. I'm sure the participants also would like to know, or you all would have experienced the same, where the first question probably is, can you walk me through your resume? And the reason behind this question is they have a physical CV or a resume in front. Yet, when the interviewer asks you to walk through your resume, they want to just gauge your experience, your body language, or what is it that you talk about. So it may seem not so important, or we may feel bored about it. However, that is an interviewer's trick to gauge about your personality, about your background. Okay. So these are certain generic questions which comes across in an interview. Now, the next is what made you decide to pursue a career? Okay. Now, this can be specific for people with IT background or with finance or with marketing, sales, any kind of specialized field. We come across wherein they ask us, what made you choose this field? Okay. So these are certain examples. What software or tools are you proficient in? Or are you an expert in? Okay. Then the next is, can you provide specific examples or accomplishments in your previous role? So let's say if you've probably managed a team of 10 people or 15 people. So there they can probably ask this that, can you give an example of what was a difficult situation? However, right now, these are the generic questions that, irrespective of your domain, one gets asked in an interview. Nitish, would you like to add something here? Mhm.
Yes. So as Ruchika said that we have divided certain segments in such a way that everybody gets aware about what is the most general questions, or these are some of the expected questions which you should know the answers, or you should be expecting. So this is something which is like usually that first thing, right? Which starts like a professional, whether if you are a fresher or an experienced, doesn't matter. This is something which is just a common thing, like a part of the HR round or like just an introduction thing. So this is something which Uchika just narrated, and I want everybody to focus on these questions as well, even though we might have answered this thousands of times. But this is something which is also important, like how we always follow that, right? First impression is the last impression. So sometimes for a
Yeah.
work thing, we have to not forget the roots, right? So this is also important. So yeah, so that's my input on this, Ruchika, for
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you, Nitish. Now, moving on to the next slide, we have some more generic question examples. Okay. Um, which talks about our emotional intelligence. When I say our emotional intelligence, we as an interviewee, okay? So the interviewer can ask, how do you handle challenges or setbacks at workplace? Okay. Um, Now, this is something one may or may not be prepared, but depending upon the situation, one can always be mentally ready with the answer so that, when you during the time of interview, it's easy to answer the question. Now, how do you handle stress and pressure in a fast-paced work environment? I'm sure the participants who are from sales or marketing background, they get to experience this much more than others. Yeah. So, what your answer should be when it comes to stress or pressure. So, prepare yourself mentally, prepare yourself accordingly that when you go to an interview, these are the kind of questions that are asked to check your emotional intelligence. They may not be looking for a right or a wrong answer, but they want to gauge how well you can handle these questions. Also, how do you resolve conflict with a co-worker, with a supervisor, with a team member, with a teammate? Yeah. Yes,
Right,
Nitish.
right. So adding to what Ruchika said, that this is one of those most important aspect which sometimes we just tend to ignore, right? Because like how she said that emotional intelligence is also important, because that really shows that our feelings and those of others to help our behaviors at work, right? it is twice as important as technical skills when it comes to effectiveness of work, right? So these are certain questions based on that they will actually see, like, what is your thought process on this? Like how she said, there is no correct or right answer. They just wanted to see how you react. Let's say, for example, certain times we all come across certain jobs which is super stressful. Like we are so much target oriented. We want our bosses say that complete this task here, complete this task. We need end of the day. We need it in 1 hour, 2 hour. So how do you handle those things? Because you might see two sets of people. One is that set where people are like super, super tensed. One is that set where you will see them super chilling, like so much of pressure, but you will find them super, super, super chilling. So in that way, certain things you should know how to handle. So we should always have answers, or certain people might have experience in certain departments, certain sector, like they might have handled this in a fast work. They must be in a senior role or a managerial role. They are setting challenges, they are handling challenges. By that experience, they might even get that answer, right? For example, this particular answer might give you that job which you want, right? So that is something which always makes an important thing. That is why emotional intelligence is very, very important. These are some of the questions which we both felt you should be knowing and as a part of the generic thing. And this really makes a difference.
Also, Nitish, here I would like to highlight one very interesting question from our chat box. Mohammed has asked, we often get asked to tell something that isn't in your resume in the interview. So, very interesting question, Mohammed. Thank you for the question. Now, what do you do in such a situation where you are asked to talk about something that isn't in your resume? Now, this could be definitely open to you. What do you want to say which is not mentioned? Probably you can talk about your passion here. Okay, let's say, depending again upon the job designation which you are applying for, that is extremely important. You can probably say that I love reading books, okay, or I love dancing. I'm passionate about dancing. Again, this answer can vary from your job designation, right? If you're applying for a senior position, then probably you want to weigh your answer. Yeah. Yes, Nitish.
Correct, correct. No, no, I completely agree to that point because sometimes we thoroughly prepare certain questions and it automatically it's opposite that particular time, right? Let's say you prepare like
Yes.
3 4 questions and suddenly we are in that flow. Oh, this question will come, that question I'm super ready, I'm gonna ace this interview. And then we go there, the interview will ask like some random question and we are like, oh. Then when we go back home we feel like, oh, that was the most easiest question, but I could not answer because you were not ready to answer those set. We always go the hard level.
Yeah.
Sometimes the interview questions can be very simple as a feather. They might just ask you, what were your challenges? How do you handle stress? That's it. You might even get the role. Certain times they might ask, ask, ask. So it all depends upon how calm you are at the interview also sometimes, right? Sometimes you might have see, right? We might have also come across the more you are nervous, they will see, oh, there are two types of people. One is like they will just tell you that, okay, be comfortable, here. But there are another kind who will really roast you. They are like, ah, this person is super nervous. Let me roast. So it all depends from company to company. But having said that, we should always be prepared for certain questions. How is it going to happen? We have to have a clear mind. You need to have a clear mind whenever you go. Don't, that's why I always say, whenever there is a big day, don't keep any heavy commitments on that day. Keep it lighter. Other things can wait because currently there are certain important priority, which is right now. You need to ace that interview. That particular meeting or that particular thing can wait, or you just plan that day so that you don't have to think about that. Right. So
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. All right. Moving on to the next slide. Now, this again, this talks about company and culture fitment. I'm sure that another interesting and exciting question, as always, is where do you see yourself 5 years from now or 10 years from now? Now,
Yeah.
one is at loggerheads how to answer this because do I want to, climb up the ladder in this organization, or do I see myself as a senior manager position in some other in a big organization? So this one's tricky, but be ready that this one always comes across, a lot of interviewers like to ask this question just to gauge whether you're going to be there with the company or how do you respond. It's as simple as that. Okay. And another question is experience in working with diverse teams and multicultural environment. Given most of the companies these days are all globally located, there are various teams. One is working with various nationals from all across the world, various countries. So if it is, then it is easier to say that it is, you've got experience of that. It's just to see, will you be a good cultural fit in the company?
Correct, correct. Because that is very funny, Ruchika, because a lot of people don't know what they're gonna do today or tomorrow, and suddenly they are like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do after 5 or 10 years." Right?
Yeah,
So a lot of people, like you might see various social media thing, like they try to make it funny, but in real life, you can't really make fun on that question
predict.
because that is a very serious question, right? Even though here also we are gonna say like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I might get settled there or something like that." Right? Or I might do that, do this. But here, the idea of asking the second question here, where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years? They just wanted to see what is that thing you are passionate about? What is that thing which you really want? Like certain people have short-term goals and long-term goals, right? So they wanted to know like what is that thing? What is your vision? Right? Like I will give you like a very funny and smart answer at the same time. Like if you are asking me, I would rather see like I would, let's say if you are the interviewer and I'm answering your question, I will say like I would love to be in your position. By that I would love to see you, I would love to see myself interviewing people like me in future. So that is something like I'm looking, I wanted to grow in this company, right? So automatically that passion and everything is seen in my answer. So you need to prepare, whether it's any sector, whether it's IT, marketing, finance, operations, any sector, always think that are you, first of all, are you happy with that sector? That is the first thing you're going to ask yourself. If you are happy, you're going to go the long way. But if you're not happy, then you need to decide which factor or which sector really makes you happy. What are that areas which you are super happy about? And talking about the first question, as Ruchika said, that we are working with different backgrounds right now. Because after the COVID scenario, we have come across remote teams, work from home options, right? There we see a lot of culture, a lot of different people. Certain people love working from home, certain people don't love working from home, right? Certain people become too lazy. They are like, oh, I don't want to go to the office, especially for the people who have hybrid options, right? So a lot of things have changed in the past 2, 3 years regarding work also. So you might see different culture. Let's say I will give you a very funny example of mine I really wanted to share. So it was in my
Sure.
I think just after my graduation. So like I just joined like a freelance company just to get an exposure. So where I remember one of my colleague who were like very super fun employee, super energetic and everything. Okay. But this company was more into like a little bit of manufacturing and other things, right? They were like very less fun things used to happen, more of work. But that particular person was trying his personality into the into the organization. But I could see that particular person was not culturally fit, not because he's not talented, but according to the company, his energy was not the right fit. His energy would have been more into maybe media or someone like where there is a fun space, creativity space. So that is sometimes we need to see like which uh, place we fit in. It has
Yeah,
nothing to do with whether you're an introvert, extrovert, ambivert, nothing. If you're really passionate about, you will fit in that space. So guys, this is
absolutely.
something that's why we were targeting the company and cultural fit here. So I hope you guys got an idea, and I'm sure everybody here is a company and cultural fit, and they're gonna rock it, right, Ruchika?
Absolutely correct. Yes, Nitish. Let's move on to the next slide now. We have domain-wise questions. Nitish, why don't you start this one? Yeah.
Yeah. So starting from here, we have like we said, till the time we were talking about certain resume generic questions on based on, let's say it is like the professional on the introduction or the emotional intelligence or only talking about culture. Here from this particular slide, we are going to talk about domains, right? Specific domains, because as we have the crowd, this is a mixed crowd. Certain people are from IT, certain people are from operations, certain people are from different domains. So we just wanted to see how the questions are different in different domains, right? So we will start with IT. Okay. So as you could see here, the first thing is usually talks about problem solving, because IT, as you know, a lot of people have to solve a problem. Like in a fun way, I would say the Wi-Fi joke, Ruchika, like my Wi-Fi is not working. Okay, did you try restarting it? Did you press on, off? Like, this is a classic example. The same thing, a lot of problem solving thing happens in IT. That is something, a lot of technical errors, we say technique. So certain questions may be asked, like what is that complex technical problem you faced, or what is that thing, what is the hardest query or something like that, and how you resolved it, right? That could be a question. So that is where it comes in the problem solving thing. Next is program languaging proficiency, right? As we have so many languages, right? Java and all other things, HTML. So you should be very thorough in that. For example, they will be asking what programming languages you are expert in, or if you are expert, how you have applied that in the previous roles. Is there any experience of that language you have used or applied, right? And we also have other thing. If you can move the different slide, yeah, yeah. Next is the questions will be based on expertise, like whether you have a knowledge on a specific technology or a newly launched software which you have come across. So certain questions will be based on that. So you need to fit your particular answer to the current role which you're applying. Let's say, for example, you are applying for an IT role, and you need to mention that, describe your experience, whether you have used that specific software or how that particular software has really been relevant to the job or the role you are applying for. Next is, here we have the next one, which is upskilling and continuous learning. So we always like to upgrade our skills, right? We have so many things, Ruchika, where we try to upgrade. Like we don't have the skill, we have that online, we upgrade that skill. Like learning is a continuous process, right? So if there is like a scenario where it is a choice of upskilling and continuous learning, that is where you need to mention about like you need to stay posted about the latest developments and trends in the IT domain, right? It's like a general knowledge, like basic national affairs and about country places we know by the newspapers and watching news and other things. But here, talking about IT, they will be asking, do you know about the latest developments and trends in the IT domain? Or based on that, they will be also asking, like, have you led a successful project by applying this? What are the challenges faced? How do you overcome? By having that latest development, what is your scenario on this particular trend or the software or anything? So these are some of the things which is usually asked in an IT interview or IT domain. And these are some of the points which everybody should know, because these are some of the basic questions which can really make a difference in your IT profile if you really want to shine, or if you select that IT domain. And of course, the last one was project management. So that is like they will be asking, like, any particular specific project you are a part of. Did you handle, did you initiate a project? Were you a part of that big team? What was the success ratio? This kind of things. So, Ruchika, that was a little about IT thing which our audience should know.
All right. Thank you, Nitish. Now moving on to the next slide. Let's see which domain. Next is operations and project management. All right. Well, operations and project management is pretty much required in every field, in every industry these days. Uh, if you talk about delivery and execution, yeah, certain question that can come up are like, how do you prioritize your tasks and allocate resources to ensure project deadlines are met? Okay, so this can be one of the question. Now, in line of prioritization again, uh, give an example of successful project that you managed, and what were the challenges that you faced and how did you handle them? Okay, so this is again a question in example of a question that is frequently asked for a person from operations and project management domain. Okay, what are the KPIs that you use to track the measure or measure the success of a project. Okay. Also, how do you manage and mitigate risks associated with the project? Okay. So you talk about that, then you talk about performance monitoring and tracking, technology. Problem solving skills are required in every aspect. However, when you talk about project management, how do you handle changes or any unexpected obstacles during a project? Yeah. Project planning, tracking, reporting, everything is related to that. Also, another example is if a project does not go as planned, what is it that you've learned from it as an experience? So, problem solving skills, crisis management, and data analysis, these are the key points which participants from operations and project management need to be ready, need to, keep yourself mentally ready that these kind of questions can be asked. Okay. Now, moving on to the next slide, please. Managing team and collaborations is also a part of above, and so is risk management. Yes, Nitish, healthcare questions.
Thank you, Ruchika. So, as you may see, Ruchika has just narrated the operations and project management. Now, let me take you to the different domain, which is healthcare. I'm sure a lot of people are there in healthcare because it is one of the most important domain also, right? Like a lot of people, healthcare is something which we all are grateful with doctors and all nurses and other people who really helped us during the COVID scenario, right? So a lot of people are interested in that particular domain also. So this is some of the questions which they should be knowing if you are in the healthcare. So the first thing is continuous professional development and industrial knowledge. Okay. So again, this particular thing talks about how are you staying updated on the latest medical advancements? Are you aware about this particular feature, about new product or new software or whatever? Or are you aware about the industry's best practices? Right? That is what it is talking about. Second thing is problem solving skills in a healthcare context. So this particular thing talks about, how you are focused on a challenge, or have you ever solved any particular case, or describe a challenging case you have handled and what was the outcome. Have you encountered any complicated challenges? Certain times it might happen, right? Certainly people might not be able to solve that particular patient case, but you did that or your team did that. How did you handle that? What was the outcome? What were the things which was challenging for you? So sometimes your experience can really give an output for other people. Now, next thing is it talks about EHR, that is electronic health record system. So this is one of the important aspects when you're at the healthcare jobs. This really talks about like, what are the things you're familiar with? Are you familiar with this EHR concept? Have you done that in your previous role? Have you done something about this, or how pro are you in that particular electronic health record system? It's like, I'll give you another example. Let's say in our daily life, right? We use Android phones. We know certain things we use like keypads, WhatsApp, and everything. Android phone, iPhone. So certain things are so. Whenever you are explaining this feature, you're gonna ask like, are you proficient with this particular smartphone app? Are you proficient how to type? Do you know how to write? Or do you know about this app, how to operate? The same goes with, do you have any idea about EHR, right? Next talks about patient confidentiality and compliance with regulations. This particular thing really talks about how much you know about the healthcare policies and regulations at your work, right? How do you make sure that everything is followed? Do you know any laws regarding that? Do you know proper guidelines of certain things? What were the regulations which you used to follow, or are you aware about certain things? How to make sure that everything goes well for the patient as well as the particular department? And the last one is process improvement in healthcare settings. This particular thing talks about um, maybe an innovative way. How innovative are you? How creative are you? In the sense that the questions can be framed in like, have you implemented any particular process in your previous healthcare roles? Have you initiated something, or have you come up with a different improvement of that particular problem or that particular thing? Right? So these are some of the things which I try to explain you in like a very easy manner so that the people who really works in the healthcare department will get to know that these are some of the questions which they can expect in their roles or in their interviews for a better uh, growth. So that's a little bit about healthcare, Ruchika. You may go for the next domain and tell us the participants about the next domain.
Sure. Thank you, Nitish. So let's talk about sales and marketing. And I can see a lot of questions popping up in the question and answer box. So we will take up questions depending upon the
Yes,
time
yes.
that we have, but we'll definitely take up questions. Okay. All right. Now, sales and marketing, what are the pointers that one needs to keep in mind before appearing for an interview? Sales success story and sales strategies. Now, all the people from sales domain, I'm sure you all have that one success story that changed your life, yeah, or that gave you an experience to remember for life. So you have to narrate the same way in an interview. What are the strategies that you used? Okay, pipeline management, negotiation skills. Now, certain questions that I can provide you here are share a specific example of a successful sale you closed and the strategies that you used throughout. Okay. How do you prioritize and manage your sales pipeline to ensure consistent performance? Now, this is a very important question. A situation where a significant objection came from a potential client. How did you handle it and what was the result? Okay. What is customer relationship management? What are the CRM systems that you are proficient in? And how do you utilize to boost your sales effectiveness? These are certain questions that are commonly asked for people from sales and marketing domain. Okay. Now, moving on to the next slide, we have some more continued questions. Okay, another important aspect of sales and marketing is maintaining client relationship, market research and analysis, marketing automation tool proficiency, and marketing campaign success and strategy implementation. Certain questions on the same can be: what is your approach to building and maintaining strong relationships with clients and customers? While this question may seem for sales and marketing, but I'm sure you all will agree this is a question that is asked all throughout various domains. Yeah. When we talk about multicultural environment and culture fitment, this is definitely an example of that because we not only have external clients, but our colleagues, our peers, our teammates from different countries are also our internal clients. So how well do you bond with them? Yeah. Then have you worked on any of the marketing automation tools? Talk about them in detail. Or how do you approach market research and analysis? And talk about a successful marketing campaign that you were involved in. What were the results? So you can keep this information ready before appearing for the interview. Okay. All right, Nitish, over to you now for the next domain.
Thank you so much, Ruchika. So Ruchika just narrated you about the sales and marketing domain. Now I'm going to continue talk about the education and training domain. Some of the questions which is very much interesting if you are in an education field or a training and development field. Okay. So as you know, this is some of the roles which is like which can be like a senior role as well as it could be like a learning role, right? Where it talks about a lot about how much you did because our audience is like learners and clients and customers. So we need to make sure that whatever tool or whatever things we are using, they should be satisfied. Customer satisfaction is important because if we give the wrong information, then they're going to come back again. And then, like, it's all about that's how the training and everything comes. It's like, I'll give you a school example, right? Like in school and colleges, there were teachers. They used to teach us, right? If they, whatever they were teaching, we used to write that in the exams, right? There were two types of students. One who used to get everything. One is like not getting anything. So it all depends upon the teachers also at times, right? Also the interest of you also regarding the subject. Everybody had a favorite subject, right? The same goes with education and training. In future, if you want to be a teacher or a trainer or anything regarding this particular profile, senior manager, training manager, so certain things you should also be knowing, which I'll be discussing about. The first thing is curriculum development experience, right? So this is something which a lot of people ask nowadays, right? Like a lot of people make the content, they make a chapter, they make the quality, they make lessons and everything. So certain questions will be based on what things you have did. Like what was your experience in the curriculum development? Did you create any? Did you made any new things? Did you add any new concept or anything? Right? How creative are you? Right? That is number one. Second thing is designing learning materials for diverse learners. Right? In this particular thing, they are usually asking that how do you approach various designing things or various creative things while effective learning is concerned? Like, have you done anything which really helps the diverse learners? Have you created a new material? Have you created a new tool? Have you created a new strategy? Right? That's about designing. Third thing is assessment of training program effectiveness. This particular point really talks about what strategies you have used. Have you used any new technique, new method, how to check the training program? So I'll give you an example here. Let's say after every event or certain things, right, you do a survey or a poll to see like what was the reaction of the audience or the participants. Were they satisfied or not satisfied? That is something which we usually do in every workshops or webinars or any particular activity. Same goes with whether regarding an assessment of a particular learner or a client, like do you have any strategies or what are the strategies which were super hit in your previous career, or what are the strategies which you came up and became super successful, right? That is assessment of training programs. Next is adapting to different learning styles and abilities, right? This particular thing talks about how do you address the need of learners, because every, like I said, customer satisfaction is something which we really look closely here. So we really need to understand the crowd. What is the crowd here? Like, are they satisfied? What is the need of the hour? What are the challenges? Are we able to address those needs? Are those problems solved? If you had that, this is where the problem solving thing comes into your picture, right? If you're a person who really loves that situation and likes to solve that problem, so here they will be mostly asking about how did you address the needs of the learners by maybe adapting different styles and abilities, right? Next talks about integration of technology and e-learning in education and training. This is where the tech comes into the picture. Like, as you know, like in COVID scenario, a lot of things were in like online. We got introduced to more online platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, which was already there, but it got its popularity during the COVID scenario or during that COVID. I mean, like when we were all working remotely, right? So that particular time, they usually ask like, do you have any knowledge about technology, whether apps or any particular tools for education and training, if it's like an online setup or if it's a remote job or if it's like a virtual job or it's like a hybrid role, anything, right? And the next thing talks about classroom or training settling management and conflict resolution. This is where we should really know how to handle the challenges, because there could be certain types of clients or learners. For example, there could be like good learners, bad learners, rude learners, right? So how do you handle those, right? How do you handle those challenges? Or that, let's say there is like a disruptive behavior. How do you handle those particular? What are your solutions to that in a classroom setting or a training setting? How do you adapt your methods to make sure that there is like a diverse cultural backgrounds for everything? Because in the end, everything should be equal, right? You can't just uh, mistreat anyone by their caste, culture, anything. Everything should be proper, because there will be so many students or people coming from different backgrounds. So we need to make sure that everything should be said or mentioned in a very transparent way. So do you know how to do that? Right? So these are some of the things which usually the interviewer expects you to answer in this particular domain. So I hope everybody got an idea that these are some of the most common things which is asked and everybody should know, because this is some field which brings a change, because Ruchika, if you remember, there was polls, I mean, like the icebreaker where people were talking about change. They would love the change. And this
Yes,
is a sector
yes.
which we feel like a lot of change can happen if you know how to put it in a right way. So yeah, that's a
And
little bit about
yes,
education and
to
training.
and a lot of changes are coming in this domain. Education and industry training has seen a sea change of thanks to COVID. Everything's people have realized that the live classes, the sessions can happen online. So online learning has become a big boom has come into the industry. Yes. All right, now moving on, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, this is my favorite domain, Nitish, finance. Let's take a look at the questions, at the pointers. So, as always with any domain, various tools are used. Let's take a look at financial software or tools proficiency. Definitely, one can be asked, what are the various tools or software which one is proficient or experienced in? It's the same as the IT domain, and talking about if you can share your experience with any of the financial process, or how was your previous how did you fare or how did you perform in terms of financial management. Okay, so you talk about the process improvement and how can we improve that. Okay, and then comes your risk management in financial decision making. How do you approach risk management in financial decision making? Now, this is the part where participants from the domain can, shine. You can give examples, have the examples written down, list them, talk to yourself, answer these questions so that when you appear in front of the interviewer, you are confident and you know what you're talking about. Okay. So these are certain examples to help you. The next point is regulatory compliance. Are you informed? Are you updated? Okay. So keep yourselves up to date with the financial regulations depending upon the country where you're living in. How do you stay informed? So you can probably say that if you have any newsletter or if you have any magazine subscription, this is the time you can highlight how you are updated. Okay. So these are certain tips or pointers where you can shine, where you get an opportunity to display. Okay. Then comes complex financial analysis. So you talk about any of the modeling or analysis project that you worked upon. What were the results? Okay. So not necessarily you will be asked your strengths or weakness upfront, but when you've got a certain experience in life, when you've got a certain experience in terms of your career, the questions come your way um, in a different package, if I may say. So it won't be as straightforward as talk about your strengths and weaknesses. It will be how have you experienced a situation. They don't really want to know, the interviewer doesn't really want to know if you were able to resolve the conflict. They want to know how you handled it maturely. They want to see if you've had an experience of that kind and can you be a good fit in their company. Okay, so please answer the questions, take your time, think, and then answer these questions. Yes, Nitish, do you agree with me? Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Totally
All
agree.
right.
We should always be, it's like how we have the email thing, right? We need to proofread before we send. Sometimes in the past, I'm sure we all had that experience, right? We just send it and realize, oh, one error. I did not put the comma. I did not put space. I did not put. So same goes here. You can apply here. Whatever you're saying, think. So I completely agree to you, Ruchika, what you're saying here.
Thank you. All right. So, Nitish, these were the domain-based resume questions that one can
Correct.
be asked. So these were certain pointers from our end to help you be ready with the questions. And now we've reached the next poll. So I'm sure all of you can see the poll appearing on your screen now.
Guys, it's poll number 2. We have covered the first part, which is in resume generic and industry specific questions. Now here's the fun part, right? Let me just read out to you guys the poll number 2. Now, before we go to the next topic, we just wanted to know like what's your thought process on that. So the question is based on that, right? So I'll read out the question. When it comes to job hunting, which aspect do you find most challenging? I repeat the question. When it comes to job hunting, which aspect do you find most challenging? Your options are: first, crafting the perfect resume. Second is navigating job boards and online applications. Third option, networking and making connections. And fourth is preparing for interviews and assessments. So, guys, unlike the last poll, I want you guys to please vote
Please
for it.
participate.
And the people who's not able to see it, it might be a tech error or something. You can always put it in the chat box, your option. So, Ruchika, what do you think? Like, what,
Oh, you
which
stole
aspect do
my
you find
question.
most? Yeah,
I was going to ask you. Okay,
yeah,
which aspect of job hunting do I find most challenging? Um, I think
what do
it's
you
a
think?
mix of
It's a tricky
all,
one.
but it's a single
You need
choice.
to
Yes,
pick one.
yes.
You need to pick one. You need to pick one. There is
I
no
think we
option called
all
all of the
struggle with
above.
crafting the perfect resume. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes. But I
that's
think we
true.
have to
That's true.
also accept that there is nothing called as perfect resume. There's nothing
Correct.
perfect. So do your best. Yeah. Preparing for interviews and assessments, I think it's a continuous process.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
But
let's take a
somewhere
look
I
at the
feel,
answers.
somewhere I feel that everything is important, like how we said, but let's see. See, everybody wants to be perfect. See, it's the top answer, crafting the perfect resume. Then comes networking and connections. No, that comes for interviews and assessments. Then comes networking, and people are like, I don't know, it's very fun way to say, navigating job boards and online applications can wait. Let me just create the perfect resume first, then
Yeah,
make interview, then connecting. Perfect. Thank you guys for this answers. We really appreciate you participating. Why we set this poll? Because this is something which we're going to talk about next, right, Ruchika?
absolutely. So moving on to the next slide, Nitish. Let's see. We've heard now, I'm sure all of us have heard this um, guide to job hunting or what is job hunting? Let me ask you, Nitish. What, according to you, is job hunting?
Definitely, I'm not hunting at this time, but yeah. So I would say job hunting is basically you're like, if you were asking me this question, I'm really searching for a job because currently there could be a scenario, right? Either I might be unemployed at the time, I'm really searching, or I am not, even though I have a job, I'm not able to find my right job. Right? I might have a
Yeah,
job, but still you're applying for it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like
Maybe
I'm still
maybe the
hunting,
satisfaction is missing. So you're looking for
missing.
a better
Yeah,
opportunity. There could be
correct,
many reasons for that. Now,
correct.
if we go as per the term, I'm sure all of us are familiar that job hunting, job seeking, or searching for a job is the process of looking for a job change. Now, we all know that, we've all heard that. Here are certain guidelines or tips, as you can say, to help you to be in a better place. Okay. They may not be definitely, it depends a lot in what kind of a job role one you are looking for and which country you are in. There are times that you may not have those opportunities in your country, so you have to look elsewhere. Okay, so a lot depends on that. However, for about 80%, these pointers do apply. Now, moving on to the next slide, let's take a look at the pointers. Yes, Nitish, would you like to take these up?
Yes, sure. So like how Ruchika said that the right definition of job hunting, right? Now there is like a step, right? A lot of people don't know what they are looking for, right? Or nobody's there to guide. Certain people are like, I'll give you a very funny example, Ruchika. Let's say if your experience, this is a very common thing happens everywhere. So certain people assumes that you should know everything, right? It's all about experience. Maybe in your role, certain seniors or certain people might have taught you that, or certain people you might have not got any knowledge. You learn by yourself, right? So people should really know that it's not about assuming, it's all about like having that hands-on experience. Whether you are a fresher or an experienced doesn't matter in the job hunting process. You should have to have like a certain step in the right way. It's like eating, right? It's like our routine.
Yes.
Every day we wake up, we brush our teeth, we take a shower, we have our food. Like that's like a routine, right? That is something which we follow anywhere we are. Whether it's that's like a morning routine. The same goes with the job hunting process. There is like every step is essential, right? As you may see, the step number one, define your career goals. So every person should have like a goal, what he or she wants to become. Like in the previous slides I was mentioning, you should find your sector first. Which sector really excites you? Whether it's marketing, whether it's finance, whether it's operation, whether it's education, IT, healthcare, anything. First, you need to set what is that goal you need to achieve. First, you need to set then you are going to see like what goal I'm going to put in that. Let's say you might be want to become a CEO of that company, or you might want to be a senior position of that company, something where we have to study. If you want to a chef, right, you should know how to cook, right? You should know the basic boiling water technique, right? You should know how to boil a water. So same goes with this. You should know your career goals. You can make it mention. Second is creating a convincing resume. Like I said, resume is very, very important, right? So you need to make sure that like how we had discussed certain questions regarding that. So you need to make sure that resume also stands out like that. Let's say you have 5 years of experience or 10 years of experience. It should really reflect what you did. So it has to be a convincing one rather than just nowadays, Ruchika, as you know, everything is available online. AI has taken over. People
Yes.
just, but they forget that you can get the thing, but you need to humanize it, certain words, right? So here also, when you put a convincing thing, that means you have done that. The people who have really done that roles experience, they will be able to say, they will be able to write. Then pick a job board. So here job board means various sites which you apply. Let's say the popular one being LinkedIn, Monster. So you need to pick a job board, right? Wherever you are getting more response, or maybe everybody has different resumes. Certain resumes get attracted in LinkedIn, certain resumes get attracted in Monster or various other job boards. So you might be applying to 10 other job boards. So you need to have like an analyze which job board is really giving that importance to your resume. So you might apply to that job board most because similar roles is coming in that job board. Next, step four is apply rationally, right? You can't just go on and on and on and on and on, and then you decide, oh, nothing is working. I've applied 10, I've applied 20, I've applied 30. Nothing is there. My life is doomed. That's not how you should do. Maybe you are just applying randomly, right? So Ruchika, I'll give you like a funny thing in like dating profiles, right? You swipe left, swipe right. You just go, and you're like, anyone will be like, I will swipe everything. Some person will be swiping right. But that's not how it is, right? You really need to see whom you are swiping, right? The same way here, you can't just go apply. It's not like in the company you will be eligible for all the roles, right? Imagine like you are only the what is
The
it? You are
finance
only the
manager, the
yeah,
HR.
finance manager. You are the operation manager. You are the CEO of your. Like that's not how it works, right? You can't be even though you might have knowledge of everything. So that's why in the job also you need to make sure that you should not apply everything. Maybe like you after applying certain roles, that's why that job board is important, right? You need to pick, okay, this particular profile I applied, I'm getting more roles in this. So you should think on that roles more, or you should upgrade your skills. So in that way, just applying is also not enough. The right apply, maybe like 10 jobs you might have applied, but after that, only two relevant things must be there for the things which you did. But you are saying that, oh, I applied for 10, no response. So in that way, these are some of the points. And next slide, please. Would you like to go and explain the next set of slides, Ruchika?
Sure. Thank you, Nitish. So I also wanted to add on to what you said. Um, one of the common job application sites has a limit of 100. Okay. Now, I know a friend of mine, she applied for 100 jobs in a day and she wanted to apply for more, but she couldn't. She was barred. So, jokes apart, when you're applying, be rational about what kind of a job opportunity you're looking for. Okay. Don't go over applying. What will happen is the companies can also see where you've applied for. So keep a check on that because you don't want to be showcased or highlighted as someone who's applying for various jobs, even though that's not matching. Okay. So please be a little careful in where you apply. Think about it. Is it what you really want? Okay. So in conjunction with that is when you apply for the company, or rather before you apply, do research the company, do check the position. A good way to do is probably see, Google the company or check it in one of the networking websites. There are many these days. LinkedIn is a popular one. Glassdoor is another one. So check, okay, if the company and the position and the people by any chance is the person mentioned on that company, do you have a friend or acquaintance who's worked at that company? So then you can, check on a personal level, build that network to see how's the company. Okay. Now the next step is write a tailored cover letter. Okay. After this, we are going to be talking about cover letter in detail, which we've also covered in our workshop one. Now, which what it means is you can't really have one answer for each question. Same way, you can't have one cover letter for each job application that you are applying to. You have to tweak it. It has to match the keywords of the job specification. It has to match the ATS also. So, you to tweak your cover letter depending upon the job specification. And again, you have to you have to tailor your resume also as per the role. So, depending upon your job specification, you work on your cover letter, you work on your resume. So, this is like putting in efforts from your end that yes, it may be a good match. Once a good match, then the rest is up to the company, but this is your do. This is your bit here. Okay. All right, so now moving on to the next slide. I know Nitish, next slide talks about cover letter, but a very interesting
Yeah.
question has just come in from Bernard and it appeared on my screen. We are going to cover job attire, the attire for the interview.
Yeah,
So
don't worry.
Bernard
We have
asked
we
really
have it
well.
for you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have it for
So,
you. We
yes,
got your
Nitish.
needs. Yeah, yeah,
Would you
yeah.
like to talk about the cover letter, Nitish?
Sure, sure, sure. So as Ruchika was mentioning, we have covered the aspects and significance of cover letter in part one. Here we are again repeating it because we really want you to know the importance of the cover letter. How she said that every cover letter is different. But certain people ask, like, is cover letter really necessary? Can't they just hire me? I don't have any cover letters. Just hire me. I'm good. So that is not something a lot of companies are interested in. Like as you grow, right? As you grow more, cover letter actually speaks about a small. It's like a telegram, but your work telegram, right? How you whatever you have done, or like especially like what makes you like I could see like one question like what is so different about me? Like I'm sure like that there's a question you have always heard. What is that X factor in you which makes you different from others? Let's say there are 100 people applying for a job. The hiring manager will be asking, what is that X factor? What is that different factor in you that makes you different? Maybe in your cover letter can maybe if you make a great cover letter, he might be impressed by that. Oh, his cover letter was the best and I'm hiring him. You never know. You might get hired by a beautiful cover letter. So here, this is like a structure. We again wanted to make sure that everybody knows how the structure of cover letter is designed. So here we have given an example in the form of a illustration, which really shows that what all the details needs to be there. First, as you can see, the contact details. You need to make sure that who you are, right? So you need to give your contact details like your name, email ID, and everything. Next is the hiring manager or the department information. Like it, the cover letter may go from roles to roles or companies to companies. So you should really know the hiring manager or anything. But let's say if you don't remember the name or anything, don't worry, you can always put that is where the sir madam comes in the picture, right? You can always put like dear sir man, something like that. Or if you know the name, the better. Next is an opening paragraph about that particular thing. So cover letter, as you may see, it covers various aspects, right? So a lot of people will think that everything I have mentioned in the cover letter, what's a need for to explain it again? But no, there should be three paragraphs here in the cover letter to make it really stand out, right? The opening paragraph should include like that should really how's the word? Grab the reader's attention. Let's say you are reading a newspaper article or an
I catch
Instagram
it.
feed. The title always attracts us, catchy title. Half of them don't read the entire content, but get excited about the title. Certain things you can always make it personal and customize according to that what is that thing you really wanted to talk about, like maybe introducing yourself, or maybe you can just a little bit boast about your skills, you are like good at that or good at this, that can really make it like, oh, this person really knows what he's talking about. Then the body is where you're going to talk about the challenges or certain achievements, but make it short. You don't have, let's say you have thousands of achievements or dozens of challenges. Don't showcase everything. That is where when you apply for the role, always customize your challenges or your particular situations or achievements. Make sure that okay, this particular challenges or achievements really align with my role which I'm applying. So this kind of paragraph really shows that more, because in resume you can't say everything, but in cover letter you can narrate a little bit that maybe I had this challenge, I solved like this. That really shows your problem solving skills or decision making skills. Or let's say I have achieved this. So they will say, oh, this particular person has really achieved that targets or challenges or anything. Next is the closing paragraph, right? Closing paragraph will just mention that like you are just looking forward for this opportunity, and we will like more of a positive affirmation. And then you're going to end with a formal salutation. So this is something which we are going to talk about in this particular cover letter structure. But having said that, more details are already mentioned in the part one, where everything is mentioned from start to end, like why it is important and every step in a detailed way. Yes, Ruchika, that's a little bit about cover letter for everyone. We
Yes,
can go to the
Nitish,
next one now.
thank you. Also, just wanted to highlight where you were saying talk about it. Well, just want to add one little bit. Don't overdo it. Um, don't try to highlight that you've got about 30 qualities. It may be possible, no judgment there. However, please understand human capacity. Just be you. I've answered a few questions in the chat box where people are asking, how do I handle this if I don't have experience? How do I talk about situation where I don't have experience? If you don't have, it's better to speak the truth and say I don't have any experience, okay, rather than giving incorrect information. So don't it's better to accept the truth, acknowledge it, than to give a false answer, is my advice. All right, now talking about what is the significance of cover letter. Someone also just asked me, isn't cover letter obsolete? It's not, right? Till date, if you want to apply or be selected, it's always good to have a cover letter, which will also give an impression that you've gone through the company, you've gone through the job specification, you've tailored it, you put in efforts to match and be specific about the company. So I would say it's a plus if you have a cover letter and it talks about the company also. Now, definitely Nitish highlighted that, it'll grab the attention. Yes, even if you're not super qualified, but yes, it'll definitely catch the attention. It also helps you to stand out apart from others because, like I said, people may feel that cover letter is obsolete, but it's very much in these days. So not everyone prepares a cover letter, and if you do, that's definitely a plus for you. Okay. tip the scales in your favor. Like I mentioned, it'll help you. If the recruiter has to invite one out of two equally skilled candidates for an interview, they're going to call the one with a more convincing cover letter. So there you go. What else do you need? Yes. So please, if you don't have a cover letter, and for all the people asking, Nitish, if I may answer a couple of questions that I've seen in the chat box, please do have a cover letter. What is the difference between resume and CV? We've answered this, nothing much. Resume is more like a fancier or a newer name of CV, and resume is a little more in depth than the CV, but no difference. So
Both are same. Both are
both are
same. It's
same.
like curriculum. It's like used in certain people call it resume, certain people call it CV. Certain people call it, there's a word. What's that word? Bio. There's a
Biodata,
popular
biodata.
biodata.
Biodata,
So many
I think
names.
we discussed in workshop one, it's more personal. So, it's more used for like personal dealings. All right, now moving on to the next slide, let's talk about how to research a company. Yes, Nitish, would you like to take this one?
Thank you, Rachika. So don't worry, guys. Everything is there. For more information about cover letter, you can always visit our part one video. So let's talk about the next important questions which we thought we should highlight, because a lot of people doesn't understand the significance of this question, right? Because how to research a company. So the main thing is whenever you are applying for different companies, whether it's a multinational company or a startup company, doesn't matter. You should know about that company, whether it's an old company, popular company, doesn't matter. A lot of people, Ruchika, I've heard, they just go to the company and don't study about that company. They just said that, oh, my friend recommended that. My colleague recommended
That's a
that. That's
no-no.
the that's a no-no, right? Like when they ask, like, do you know about the company? Well, no. I just got an invite yesterday and just came because I was free today. I'm not working. Do you have vacancies? So it's like a very casual attitude towards this question. But this question really can impress a lot of hiring managers, because it's like doing the homework before the event, right? If you really know the company, they will think that, oh, this person really knows about where he's going to work or she's going to work. So that really automatically creates an impression. Let's say there are like 100 candidates for that role, but you actually said certain things about that company which other people never said. You might get selected to the next round like this because you are more passionate about that company. So that is why we thought this particular question should be kept as a part of the workshop today. So the question is simple: how to research a company, right? The number one tips, we're going to divide this sections into different tips so that you guys know how to answer this. First is start with the employer website. Common thing. Research. Nowadays, everything is online, right? Whether it's a small company, small startup, everything have a website. If not website, a Wikipedia page or a LinkedIn page or some link or the other. So that automatically becomes a pointer also in an advantage way or a disadvantage way. Advantage way in the sense that oh, certain information are written there in the online medium. But if it's not there, then about the company, right? It doesn't have any existence. That can be like a fake company, right? Because that means it is not registered. It is not popular. You are falling into a trap, right? So that is the time you should know the company details. First is the website. So here we have mentioned like what to do. Well, I mean like what to see in the website, because website will have multiple options. You can't just mark a whole website and say that, oh, what do you know about the company? Imagine, Ruchika, I'm saying, I know it's www.apple.com. That's the company. Our first page, front page opening, then there's a link. You are actually mugging the entire website page, right? That's not how it is answered. So basically, you need to basic things like what is the size of the company, who are the key members, maybe like a CEO of the company, CFO of the company, director of a company, what is the profit maybe, or what is the employee size, different departments, what are the branches, what is the work culture, different pictures, everything. You just have a look at it, because that is something which you will be doing if you get selected. you should not think like, okay, I didn't know this. I didn't know these people were like this. So everything needs to have like a pre-check, right? So that is why the first thing is always go with the employer's website. Can we move to the next slide, please? Ruchika, would you like to address the tip number two?
Sure, sure. I think we've spoken about it. You can look for, acquaintances or people who are working for that company on LinkedIn, on Glassdoor. It's always good to do a check. You never know, a colleague or a neighbor or a relative of yours works in the same company. It's a small world after all. So it's always good to check. And if a known person happens to be in the company, you can definitely check with them how this new company is. And, if it matches the kind of place or environment you want to be in, then definitely go for it. Okay. So, exploring employees globally by location and role, connecting with individuals in your target department or for insights on company culture, department specifics, or role you're interested in. Be respectful and avoid being pushy always. Positive engagement may lead to a personal referral to team leads or department heads. Absolutely. You never know if you have a connect, how can probably they can help you in getting that opportunity. Yeah. So it's always good to research the company on these common networking sites to maybe look for that probable connect, or you will come across probably the HR who's posted. So, you can know more and then use that to your advantage in the interview. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next slide, please. This is the easiest bit, that you research about the company and you look for the employer, by as simple as Googling them. Yeah. So always Google about the prospective employer, uh, and see what the news has come up. How is the company doing? Any update that you want. I'm sure you all are aware, but how many of us actually do it is a question. Okay. So it's always good to research about the employer that you are applying for, the company that you're applying with. Please check in Google. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next slide, please. Yes, Nitish.
Thank you, Ruchika. Adding to what Ruchika said, that it's always sometimes searching for the company will also give what is the news, right? Because now is the era of a lot of people losing their jobs, getting fired. We will know the current market ratio. What is the success? Is the company really successful? We'll get to know the news and latest trends about the company, whether it has got any awards or any recognitions also. Adding to what she said, let's go to the next step, how to research a company. So there is a website called Glassdoor. I'm sure a lot of people are aware. Glassdoor is one of the best websites where you can really see the review of a particular company, whether it's a working condition, whether it's the pay scale, whether it's the pros and cons. It is like, now, not 900% it would be accurate, but mostly accurate, I would say, right? It's all about different experience. Why I'm saying it's not 100% accurate, because it all depends upon your experience, right? Let's say, for example, if me and Ruchika are going to working in different same company, for example, and let's say I'm going to a different company, I might have a good experience with that company, so I might write good things about it. But let's say if Ruchika doesn't have a good experience, she will write that. But having said that, it's all about people's opinions. Certain people have that good exposure. Certain people, it all depends upon the roles, the managers, the people you work with. So Glassdoor is one of the websites which most of them really have a look at it before going. We will get to know what is their experiences. We can even know like, okay, this is what happens here. And Glassdoor is super popular. It is created in such a way that you get like a balance sheet of the company, like its pros and cons. Next step is you need to tap into your network. Like how Ruchika pointed out, LinkedIn is something which you can create connections. LinkedIn is one of those uh, job board which every member is there, starting from the lowest employee to the highest employee, starting from the lowest role to the highest, even the CEOs here, everywhere. Everyone, they have a profile LinkedIn. So you always try to tap into your network. You never know, their recommendations or their reference might really land you this job. Always stay connected. You can always ask them. You just connect and drop a text to them stating that my name is this. Let me know if you have any vacancies at your company in future. So if you stay connected, maybe that particular time they might not have, but in future they might really consider your recommendation. So that is the time when you ask, you always share your updated resume or CV. Don't just say that, let me know if you need reference, because dozens of messages they get, right? There will be dozens. And what makes you stand out? So always write properly. Your choice of words and everything matters when you are tapping into your network. Research company social media pages. Now everything is social media, right? Everything has a social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even X, which used to be called Twitter in the past. So a lot of people have different pages. So always research like whether how's the social media engagement there of the company. Are there too much of activities happening? You will see, like, let's say for example, they will be celebrating Women's Day. They will be celebrating different festivals day. They will be celebrating Christmas, New Year, various other employee engagement activities for team building and other things. And the last is look up posts. Certain times, especially this is good for like if the company is super popular, you will have a lot of views, a lot of things, or maybe a staff or a person from that particular company will have super views. That particular person's post and articles which he writes or posts in the social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, it got super popular, super comments and everything. So these are some of the things which you should really think or do research about if you are really going to apply for that company or you really wanted to be that company for the longer run. So that you know what you are going rather than you are just jumping and later realize, oh, I never researched about the company and it turns out to be a fraud company. Right, Ruchika? So these are some of the things which everybody should know. You're on mute, Ruchika.
Yes. Sorry, I was nodding and I was answering questions. Yes. Thank you, Nitish, for sharing the pointers for job hunting. Now, moving on, these are the kind of telephonic interview or a phone interview. Let's say you have a telephonic interview scheduled. Now, what do you do in that scenario? Well, definitely you can chill and be ready with these questions. Okay. Now, these are certain um, points again for you to be mentally ready with the kind of questions expected during the interview call. Okay. Now, how long do you think, Nitish, a phone interview is for mostly?
I don't know. The funniest thing before a phone call interview, I don't know if it has happened with everyone. Sometimes you were really waiting for the phone call interview, waiting, and you missed that call, right?
Happens.
Then you need to dial back, and that
Yes.
time, oh, it's
Yes.
engaged, it's busy. And we are like, ah, we have missed our phone interview, right? Sometimes it happens. I'm sure everybody is having a laugh, but everybody's thinking, oh, yes, it happened to me also. But answering to your question, it should be between 15 to 20 because it's a telephonic round. Depends upon it. Could be like a 5 minute call also. Or if it's a part of the first round, it could be like where you're talking with a senior or anything. It could go for like 15 to 20 minutes. That's what I feel. Am I right?
Absolutely correct. So anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. Having said that, it could be as short as a 10 or 15 minutes call also. A lot depends on the interviewer and the kind of questions and which round is it. Yeah. If it's the first round, it's a basic round. HR needs to know if you're available or not, what is the best time, what's your salary expectation, all of that. Because they also do a first level screening on that basis, right? So a lot depends on which level of interview is this. Okay. And talking about salary, what are your salary expectations? I think I saw a couple of questions in the chat box on the same. I wish we had a straightforward answer for each of the question. It would have been really the life would have been blissful, but
I would
unfortunately we
say
don't.
$1 million. Give me all the
Yes.
accounts. I want to be rich.
Okay. So salary expectations always state your current salary and then the percentage of hike that you are expecting. However, if you don't want to be too pushy on that, then you can always say that this is what I'm getting. and I'm flexible. Then it's up to you what they offer, then you can negotiate, it's all up to you. But if you give them a bracket, then it's easier to negotiate. Or if you say that I want this much amount, then it may be, it may or may not work. Yeah. So always leave it a little ambiguous, that helps. Okay. Why are you looking to leave your current position? Uh, pretty pretty straightforward, I would say. It could be for in search of a better opportunity, always better exposure, better understanding, better designation, better salary. Yeah, this is what we all seek, and that is why I think we move to a next job opportunity. What are you looking for in the next position? Now, if you were really looking for that climbing up the ladder, or if the company invests in training of their existing employees, then definitely this is what you should say, that I'm looking to join a company which helps me in expanding my skills, or giving me an opportunity of that same level. So this can help. This can be a positive for the company, for the employer, and this can help you also. What are you looking for regarding the company culture? Now, this is where it helps to Google to know the company so that you can talk about it. Yeah. This is where you, in a subtle way, will showcase what you've learned. Okay. Types of benefits that you're looking for. It could be as simple as conveyance, or work from home again is a kind of a benefit. Okay. Um, Availability for an in-person interview. So these are the kind of questions that are asked during the phone, not too heavy, also not too job specific, just casual, generic questions. All right, now moving on to the next slide, let's take a look at certain other aspects of a telephonic interview.
Yes. So, like how Ruchika mentioned about in the previous slide, that those are the questions which you expect from the person who's taking the interview. But certain times, right, it is always taught that we should be asking questions on the face-to-face round. But a lot of people don't talk about what to ask in the telephonic round. A lot of people don't know. They just say, "Okay, bye. Any questions? No, I have to go to shopping now. I'm bye. Oh, I'm like everybody's like they just want to hang up the call, right? Because it's a telephonic one." So, but there are certain rounds, like how Ruchika said, it could be one of those important round where you might be having a telephonic discussion with certain senior person who might not be in the same city or same country as you, right? So certain questions can really make a difference. So these are some of the questions which usually you should ask the interviewer in a phone interview. The first one is like, I mean, like this doesn't have to be the order. Again, this doesn't have to be all my, this some of the questions, maybe you can just extract one or two questions from it, or maybe that time you can just ask like on the similar lines. Doesn't matter any positions. That's why this is like a question which is like a general question. It doesn't affect any particular domain or affect any particular domain. First is, have I answered all your questions, or is there something you would like to me to clarify? So this is something which you can ask in between also, like certain time, maybe because of bad network, like how we say technical glitch. We could always say that I hope I have answered your question. We always say, right, whenever we are in some sessions or anything, people ask like question, and we after answering, we always say, I hope I have answered your question. The same in the telephonic also, we are going to do that. We are going to say like, I hope I have answered your questions. Is something you would like to clarify. Next is, what new skills can I hope to learn? So that is like a positive statement or an optimist statement. You are actually telling the particular person, like, what skills can I hope to learn in this company or the department, right? So that really shows that, oh, you are really interested in learning new skills and something like that. Next is, what is the next step in your hiring? Because this is a very important thing, because there could be multiple rounds or maybe one or two rounds post your telephonic round, right? So you can always ask like, what is the next step in your hiring process, sir, ma'am, or whoever is speaking to you? Because either, so there will be two, three answers, right? Either the person would be saying that, okay, the concerned person will be connecting with you who got you here, or that particular person might have the answer. Or indirectly, it is a smart question, because if you are going to the next step, the person will definitely guide you, right? If the person really liked you, it's like, yeah, yeah, definitely you are going, talk to this particular person, talk to that person. So indirectly, you will get a hint. Who would I be working closest with or reporting things? So this is something, again, a very important thing, because automatically the JD is there, right? The job description. So certain things are there. So after this thing, you should be knowing whom are you reporting to, or who's your supervisor or something like that, or what is your roles or something like that. So indirectly, you are asking that person like, whom I be working with? Am I working with this department or any particular person whom I'll be dealing with on a daily basis on my work aspect? And the last one, beyond some of the hard skills we have discussed, which soft skills would be the most helpful in this position? This is something you are actually asking the other person, what is that thing I should be improving? Or what is that thing which I should be prepared for the next round of interview? Like maybe this particular skill you might have not shown here, but in the face-to-face round or the next round, you please project this. It will create a bigger impact. So yeah, Ruchika, this is some of the questions which a lot of people don't discuss, but we managed to discuss. So yeah,
Yes, Nitish, thank you so much. Now, moving on, this is a very interesting topic that we are going to share here, which is the situational interview question. Okay. Now, there are certain situational interview or behavioral questions that are asked where you share a previous work related experience and how you acted. I think somewhere during the workshop we've stressed on this question, where you talk about a previous experience in terms of sales or marketing, where you talk about how was this successful sale that you closed or marketing. Okay, so similar to that is an opportunity which is star way of answering. Now, how do you spot these questions? Is tell me about a time when you handled a situation. Okay. Or have you ever been in a position, or have you ever been in a situation, or how did you react? Describe a situation where. So your radar or antenna should be up that this is how I should answer this question. How we'll take a look at the next slide. Okay. So, how do you answer any situational interview question with the STAR method is what we are going to explain to you. Now, situation. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Okay. So, situation, you talk about what was the situation. Let's say, how did you resolve a conflict with a team member? Okay. You explain the situation that I used to work with so and so, talking about the story. How do you explain a funny incident that happened with a friend of yours? Okay. So the same way you will explain the story, giving the interviewer some background or some context that, this team member of mine, despite telling him or her to be on time, would always come late by about 20 minutes or 30 minutes after the login time. Okay. So he or she was given multiple times they were told. However, still didn't understand. You've now set up the situation. Yeah. You've laid the table, same way you've set up the situation. Now, what is the task? You talk about your role in the story. What were your roles and responsibilities, or what were your duties? So you will say, despite highlighting it to that person many a times, there was no change. Okay. Now you've explained the situation, you've told them your involvement, your task. Now, what do? You talk about the action that you took. Okay. This is where is your time to shine. Basically, what you did and how you did and how gracefully you handled the situation. Okay. So you talk about I took this person aside and I asked him that why are you late? Despite highlighting this to you, and the managers also pinpointed this. Why do you come late? And that's when that person confided in me that, probably there was some family situation that he had to be there, and every time he tried but wasn't possible. So after that, this is the action that you took. It will showcase that this is my positive, this is how I've handled the situation. And the result is that you talk about, was it resolved or not, what were the results. So in this particular example, You talk about if the person started coming on time, or did you make any modification? How well did you put yourself in that person's shoes? What were the results of the whole situation? So this is where you will use probably numbers and data also if you have any. Okay. So this is an example to handle a situational interview using the STAR method. Remember situation, task, action, and result. Okay. Yes, Nitish, do you want to add on something to this?
Yeah, like how I think you said it in a very perfect manner that all the situations you can solve like this, always follow the STAR method, and you're gonna answer it beautifully, I would say.
Thank you. All right. So, Nitish, would you like to take up this example, please?
Sure. So like how Ruchika said that first she told you how to identify a situation, then she guided you using the STAR method. Now we are going to see an example and we are going to see like how that particular person has actually used the STAR method. So the situation is, tell me about a time when you faced a conflict at work. How do you deal with it? This is a very popular question, right? A lot of people are facing conflicts day to day life also, but at work it becomes super, super, super serious. A lot of people say that, oh, how do you handle that situation? Oh, that situation was going out of control. Nobody knew what the situation was, or nobody knew the pros and cons. So, Jika, it is very funny that you might have seen the situation might have started with two people or three people, but later 10, 20 people just get in and realize that they were never a part of that conflict. They just there for entertainment. They are like, ah, let me just put my hands over
Let me
to
have my
put a
coffee
fuel
with
to
the
them.
view.
Yeah, yeah. So let
Yes.
me add fuel to the fire. So a lot of similar situation, this is something where it really shows your problem solving skills or the decision making skills you have, because this kind of situations can really make you like, are you a person who really handles a situation very well? Do you have a solution to a lot of problems, or do you have that decision thing? What you need to decide that particular moment? So the situation everybody got. Now let us apply the STAR method there. First is situation. Okay, you are working in an accounting firm. This is just an example. It could be any company. Okay, that's why we put just XY. It could be we don't want to target any particular company. So let's say if you are working in an accounting firm, right? That is a situation where you have encountered where an upset client is claiming that I missed a scheduled meeting I didn't recall. Like that particular meeting was scheduled and that particular client is not remembering, or maybe you might have scheduled that, I'm not remembering. Investigation revealed my colleague was supposed to inform me about it. The situation is like certain people, we also tend to forget things, right? In the end, we are humans. We might remember certain things, but we also tend to forget. So sometimes reminders and everything really helps, right? But in the scenario, of course, like I said, customer client is always the biggest thing. That's what our seniors or bosses say. Like we should always make sure that they are satisfied with our product or the service which we do. So that was the situation. Like we forgot to, the client is really upset. Next, the task. Confronting him, he claimed to have emailed me a day prior, but I never received it. Despite my colleague's oversight, I apologized, rescheduled with the client, and noticed a strained relation with my colleague in the following days. Now, in this scenario, maybe that particular person might have sent to you a day before or something like that. But sometimes the thing with emails, right? Certain emails we receive, certain emails we don't. Why we don't receive? Because it might go to the spam folder. Right, Ruchika? Sometimes we need to really check the spam folder and see like, oh, I might have received, but out of all the junk emails. So sometimes that is also, we can't tell the client, oh, I have received it, but so that will really show that, oh, why is my email getting received in the junk folder? Right? That also becomes a question. Then the action, I initiated a coffee meeting to address the issue. He felt offended by my dismissal in the email. I apologize, explaining trust and minimal harm. The client moved past the incident at the rescheduled meeting. So sometimes this kind of scenarios can really have like a different thought process towards our team members and colleagues. And maybe they might have not done intentionally, but that was the need of the hour. They should have been more serious about that scenario. So the action which in this scenario, this particular person has done, they have met on a coffee meeting, they have addressed the thing, but still we feel like, oh, that person has not believed me. I have told him, but lot of different thought process comes into the picture. But having said that, the client did attend it. But again, that's a bad impression from the client, right? They will think that, oh, you guys don't have a coordination. You guys don't know when the meeting is. Something like that always pops up in the minds of the client or the customer. Then the result, we moved past in this incident just fine, and I even ended up in a friendlier terms with my colleague than I started on. Now, this is like a very positive aspect, but that doesn't mean every time it will go into a friendlier tone. It all depends upon how you solve it. This is just an example where you try to talk about that person and you try to maintain that thing in a very friendlier manner. You never know, you might even become the best friends in the office. So it all depends upon how you handle the situation. So long story short, this is just a way to tell you guys like you can solve actually by identifying and dividing your problems into this and finding a solution to make sure that the harmony remains at every organization. In that way, in this situation, what happened? The client is satisfied, you are satisfied, and your colleague is also satisfied. In the end, nobody is getting harmed. So such a good technique, Ruchika. The star. Everybody's a star after having this.
Yes, yes. The star techniques really help you. And now we have time for another poll. So everyone ready? Yeah.
Guys, it's the poll time again. Ruchika, would
Yes.
you like to answer the answer the question? No.
Answer?
Read out the
Yes, I will
question.
answer also.
Read out the
All right.
question.
Well, when selecting interview attire, oh, very interesting. What factors influence your choice the most? One, dress code of the company or industry. Number two, personal style and comfort. Number three, trendiness and fashion forward choices. Number four, professional advice or dress guidelines. All right, people, please answer. Everyone,
Poll
please
is here.
answer.
Poll is here.
Yes,
A lot of people
Nitish.
were talking about attire, right? Ruchika, a lot of
Yes,
people wanted
yes,
to.
we are
Here we are.
moving on to that segment. Yes, Nitish, what is your answer on this question?
Well. I can I select everything? I need a cocktail of all these answers,
Well,
right? But
Nitish,
yeah, that's it's
which
like
will you be
we can't
selected
have.
for the job then?
No. But yeah, I would say sometimes I think it's a mix of the option A and option D. Like you should also know the dress code of the company or the industry because every company or industry works differently. Everybody has different guidelines and everything. But having said that, that professional advice or dress guideline should also be there. Sometimes that also matters. That means like you are actually following things in a structured way. That
Yes,
means everything has a good policy, everything is proper. Because if we don't have anything, that means like everything needs to be asked, right?
yes,
Sometimes it is a very bad impression stating that, oh, do you have this policy? They are like, oh, we have never heard about, but we will make one because you are saying it. But that is like a wrong thing. That should be a basic thing. Your company should have that policy, I mean. So Ruchika, what about you? What would be your option?
well, I'm someone who's a little traditional, so I think I'll stick to professional advice or dress guidelines. I won't venture anywhere else. I would like to play safe and go for
Safe
a safer
professional
options
advice and
B.
dress guidelines.
Yes.
So
All
let's see,
right.
guys, what you guys have answered. Let's see the result now for poll number 3. Well, 51. See, a lot of people goes with you, but I said
Yeah.
A and B, so I'm gonna have like 38 plus 51 percentage. I
Oh,
win.
wow. So, which means a lot of people identify this poll the same way as I do. That's great. Good job.
But
All right.
I could see a lot of people saying A and D. So
Yes, yes. A is
thank you so
pretty,
much.
yes. And people who've answered personal style, of course, yes. Personal style is absolutely, always there. However, please be a little mindful that, when it comes to dressing up for an interview, we have to keep our personal inhibitions or things aside and dress for the role also. Yeah. All right,
Correct.
moving on to the next slide. Yes, Nitish, very interesting. What to wear to an
We're
interview.
in an interview. Yes, very
Yeah.
important. As they are ready. See the people in
Yes,
the screen. They are ready for the interview. It's
absolutely.
like they are just ready. It feels like The panel has come now. We all participants here are ready because they have just entered.
Yeah, we'll
Three
just
three
ask them to
seats.
take the seats. Yes. And
Yeah,
third, you
yeah,
will
yeah,
be sitting on. All right.
yeah.
So moving on to the next slide now. Yes, Nitish.
Yes. So how Ruchika was talking about that dressing is also sometimes important because that will really give a very good impression. Of course, you should have your personal style and everything, but sometimes certain things need to be followed in certain company. Like all the five fingers are not same, correct? Every finger is different. The same way, not every company would be like thinking on the same aspect. If we really, because if you are applying for that company, we have to accept certain things at the beginning, then you can have a change once you are in that company rather than before changing everything because you're not yet part of that company. Right? Imagine like you are giving an interview and it's like, oh, I don't like this color. Change the color. I don't like this color. No, you are not the designer of that company, right? They might have thought something why they chose that color or that particular guideline. But of course, you can change once you become an important member of that family. Then you are super flexible to change that. So having said that, a lot of people were asking about the attire. Here we are talking about what to wear in the interview. First is we need to find out the dress code of the company. So this is something which we should ask if you are going to for a face-to-face interview before to the concerned person who we are connecting. Do we certain times we forget to ask that what should we wear, even though certain people know they have to be in a formal attire, but they just go casually. Sometimes wearing very casual dress also gives an impression, oh, this person is not serious about this particular role, right? So
Yes.
always check the company's social media. That's what we were talking about. Research a company to see what's their dress code or something, or wearing something similar to the interview. Second thing is dress for the job. So every job has a different thing, right? Let's say you are applying for a CEO position or your senior manager position. Of course, you might have seen most of the people wearing ties and blazers and suits. So you need to make sure that you look very professional and you that attention should be there, right? You are actually applying for a senior role, right? Rather than just being like funky, right? Of course, you can be funky in your personal life, but maybe that space particular doesn't need that. That is where the cultural fit also comes, right, Ruchika? You need to be that, give that cultural fit
Yes.
impression to that thing. So yeah, so these are the first 2 points which everybody should be mindful. Yes, Ruchika, would you like to explain this particular point?
Well, yes. And as we can see, this is pretty much self-explanatory. Don't overdress. You're not going to an interview. You're going to an interview not for a fashion show. So don't be go easy on the jewelry, on the hairstyle, or on accessories. If a person's hired, they are hired for their capabilities and skills, not for any other reason. So please do not overdress. I saw a lot of questions in the chat box for freshers, how to make resume for freshers. So especially for freshers, go as you are, be, sharply dressed, but don't overdo. Okay. Now, moving on to the next slide, we have another poll. So, quickly, if you all can answer this poll with us. All right. So, I will read the question, and Nitish, you also be ready with your choice, okay?
I will.
Now, how do you approach selecting interview attire for virtual or remote job interviews? So, how do you select the interview attire for a virtual or a remote job interview like this setup, like a Zoom or a Google Meet? Okay. One, I maintain professional attire as if I'm attending an in-person interview, like a face-to-face interview. Two, I opt for business casual attire since it's a virtual meeting. Three, I prioritize comfort over formality, but still aim to be presentable. Four, I haven't considered it yet, but open to suggestions.
Interesting
Yes,
options, Ruchika.
thank you.
I will tell you which option I'm never going to choose.
Mhm.
That is the option number two. I opt for business casual attire since it's a virtual setting because this is not something which we are used to it, right? Like this virtual things and everything which has come post the COVID situation, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's a virtual thing, it could be like a company which is like super cool and open-minded. But having said that, an interview is an interview. no matter. So that things needs to be taken seriously. Later, once you adapt to the company culture and mindset, you can dress whatever you want, or you can adapt certain policies and structures. But you should never change your principles. Everybody might be having like a work principle because that is something which they have earned, they have come, right? So they should always take this thing seriously. I feel whether it's a virtual thing or a face-to-face thing doesn't matter. You have to maintain that professionalism when it comes to interview. And of course,
Absolutely.
you need to, of course, comfort is required. I would say comfort is already getting because you are at home or you're virtual. That is the comfort by default you are getting, right? You just have to look presentable. You should not think about the comfort. You should be professional and you should be open to suggestions. Like keep an open mind while answering. So I would say like it would be like a mix of the first and the fourth, I would say, if given a chance. What about you, Ruchika?
I think I agree. Doesn't matter if it's in person or virtual. An interview is an interview at the end of the day. The expectation is that you take it seriously, formally, appear formal. So I think I would go with the number one. Let's look at the options, Nitish.
Options. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Well,
Wow.
see,
Okay.
I'm happy. Everybody want to have the
Yes.
professional attire. Very good. I'm super
Yes,
happy.
that's true. All right.
And
So
people
that's
go
good
for
to know.
comfort.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's good
good
to
to know.
know that we are all sailing in the same boat. The
Thank
poles
you
matching.
guys. Exactly. But thank you guys for actively participating in the poll 4 also. I really thank all the participants who
Thank
really
you.
gave the options. Thank you so much. Yes. So as you may see
Yes.
here, this is something. So
You want to
we
take
have
this up?
divided.
Since this is for
I
men,
would.
and I'll take it up for women. Yeah.
For ladies, yeah. So we have divided in a section that a lot of people know like what to wear in certain scenarios, whether it's like a situation of the particular role or whether it's a business. A lot of people have confusions. So we have jotted out certain things which is very useful for both the genders. So for the guys, I'm going to speak about, and for the ladies or women, Ruchika is going to speak about. The first thing is, as you could see here, suit and tie. Okay, that's a perfect example of a formal outfit, right? That is perfect for like, let's say, lawyer jobs or legal secretary or banking jobs or officer jobs or any particular senior or management, or even if you're a CEO, suit and tie never fails to make an impression, right? Doesn't matter the color because suits and tie always give it like a look, right? Like you always become like, oh, suit and tie, that's the man walking, like that's the senior manager walking. Like you all automatically, it's like, I will give you a personal example. Let's say you go for the fashion show, right? It's like there is always a showstopper, right? Here also by that suit and tie, that attire itself is a showstopper in that particular thing. So automatically, that doesn't matter whether if you get the role or not, but the attire is top notch. You get 10 on 10 on that for maintaining that attire with that professionalism. On the right hand side, a sweater and a button down. Okay, this is like a business casual attire, right? Where people actually choose certain sweaters like gray, brown, or black. Why gray, brown, or black? Those are like very colors which is like very appealing to the eyes. They are not too dark or too light. These are like very, very work colors, I would say. Because sometimes they really complement your shirt, right? Because gray, brown, and black are those colors which automatically goes with the suits or sometimes with the sweaters, pants, or anything. And again, this comes with a different thing. You can wear pants, chinos, dress, and everything. So these are some of the things which you could actually wear for an interview if you are applying for any particular roles. When you're going face-to-face round or when you are going for a different role, this two sections can really give an impressions for men. Now we are going to look at the women's section. Ruchika, would you like to
Yes.
take it?
I like how you said women section, as if we are in a mall and we are walking towards the women
Ah,
floor. Okay, thank you. All right. So, what to wear, definitely depending upon the country and the culture, whatever is comfortable. Opt for classic black or white shirts for a formal look, always. Yeah. Consider pairing it with the light blue or pink shirts for variety. I would say stick to black trousers, that always helps formal. So stylish trousers. and classy and professional look, as you can see on the slide also. Formal outfit, if you're comfortable wearing dresses, then formal dresses with a scarf. Yeah. Choose a classy or silky or a cotton blouse for added elegance. Skirt, formal dress, skirt, whatever you're comfortable in. Shirts and trousers with a light blazer. Pair it with dress, pants, or a skirt. So, having said all of that, I think we all know what is formal and what is acceptable. What we need to also consider is what's our personal style, and then go for the best, a match which is the best of both. Okay. All right, Nitish, we'll move on to the next slide. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, a light colored jacket or a blazer for less formal look, and adjust your attire based on the interview environment, of course. Mostly, the companies or the interview happens in a cubicle, which the companies are mostly have the AC on. So carry a blazer so you don't feel too cold. You know, overdressed, easily adapt to the environment by removing the blazer. Yeah. Now we are on our next slide, Nitish, where we are going to talk about the interpersonal skills. What is the correct and the incorrect example? Now, how do you showcase your interpersonal skills? Okay, I think there are a lot of questions on the same line in the chat box also, that how do I highlight my weakness and strengths? So definitely one's strengths are one's strengths and weaknesses are. However, what we can do is highlight the weakness in a way that they appear to be positive. Okay. Similarly, what are interpersonal skills? How well do you communicate? Yeah. How well do you respond? So when you're scanning the job, ensure that the keywords that they have mentioned, you add these skills to your resume. Now, as you all can see on the slide, we have an example. Okay. So how you can highlight is that I've communicated with three different departments: marketing, finance, and HR, to bring Project Z to conclusion successfully. Okay. What is not okay is to say just strong communication skills. Now, by giving a correct example, you've displayed how well you can communicate within the departments and how well you perform. Okay. So, the good thing is to pick up on the example that is mentioned and highlight your strong points by displaying what you've done well in that. Yeah. Moving on to the next slide. Yes, Nitish, would you like to take this one?
Sure. Adding to what Ruchika said, let me also give you a glimpse about what are interpersonal skills, right? A lot of people might be thinking like, okay, is it only communication that is interpersonal? No. According to the career world or in the interview world or in the work aspect, communication is one of the interpersonal skills. The second would be a teamwork ability. Are you good at managing the team? Are you like a good team player? That is one interpersonal skill. Next is, are you having that empathy skills, right? I'm sure a lot of people come across this word called sympathy and empathy, right? So, do you really have that empathy skills? Next is problem solving and decision making, right? So, are you a person who loves to make quick decisions? Are you a quick decision maker? Or are you a person who likes to manage a conflict, like automatic solutions to the problems? So these are some of the very popular interpersonal skills which a lot of people should have or should learn, because these are some of the things, whether it doesn't matter whichever role you are, because everywhere you're going to apply. Let's say, for example, whether it's an IT job or a marketing or a finance one, you will always use your communication to talk, will use your problematic, there will be problems, you will use the problem solving skills and you will find a decision. You need to be empathetic about certain scenarios. When you're leading a team, you need to have a teamwork, because you won't be working alone. You will have a team of your own, or you will be handling team, or you will be managing team, or you will be a part of one of the teams. So these are some of the interpersonal skills which I want to give it a highlight before we discuss, so that everybody knows what are interpersonal skills. And step three is adding that particular skills to the cover letter. So if you remember, we had discussed that cover letter is also part of the resume, right? It always gives an extra impression to the particular hiring manager. So sometimes cover letter is like a narrative, a little extra narrative where we can actually mention that these are some of the skills which we have put in the cover letter. So let's say there is an example given here, how we can put the skills in the cover letter. One is if you're a product manager, this is let's say a random example. You can, of course, that you can always edit or customize according to the profession or the role which you are in. As a senior product manager, implemented workflow software for three departments: marketing, finance, and HR. So indirectly, you are actually mentioning that my role was of a senior product manager, but I was closely working with all these three departments. Next, analyzed and understood the specific needs of each department. So this word analyzed, review, these are some of the things which really makes an impression in this thing because you are actually observing, you are analyzing, you're trying to find out. So basically here you are mentioned that I have analyzed the particular need of the hour of each department and try to understand the situation and the challenges. Next, successfully source the software solution tailored to meet everybody's requirement. So you are actually telling that you have found a solution after analyzing after depart, seeing all the aspects. Can you go to the next slide, please? That was the correct example, right? This was an incorrect example about like where you're talking about the interpersonal skills during the interview, right? Like indirectly, you are saying, Ruchika, I am the amazing manager. I'm the
Yes.
best manager in the world, top of the world. That is not something which you could write in the cover letter, right? Or you can just mention in the interview, right? So when you grow, right, you become more mature about even in our life, right? 20s, it's an age. 30s, we become more mature. We like to have more meaningful things. 40, it's like advanced level of that, right? The same goes with the interview. So when you grow, the choice of words and everything is different. So here is an incorrect example which says that I'm an amazing manager. That is not something which would be good when you're at that position or something to flaunt your interpersonal skills. The correct example would be I believe that I excel in managing teams, consistently delivering projects ahead of my schedule and under budget. Once, when faced with unexpected team absence due to an HR mix up, I quickly adapted by borrowing resources from other departments, ensuring timely project completion despite the setback. Now, having said this, it doesn't have to be same, exactly like same, but it could be on the similar lines. Here you are talking about how you manage the teams, how you also face an unexpected situation or a challenge, and how you manage to quickly solve that situation and make sure that your timelines or I mean like the project timelines or the targets are met. In that way, you are actually showing your experience as well as you are showcasing your interpersonal skills. So that's it, Ruchika, from how to showcase the interpersonal skills at the resume. Would you like to talk about the top trending interpersonal
Yes.
skills in 2024?
Yes, these are our top 10 in-demand soft skills to learn in 2024, which means if you are looking for a job opportunity, these are the skills that will help you, provided as long as they match on the job specifications. Okay. So strategic thinking, innovation, mentoring, critical thinking, negotiation, presentation skills, emotional intelligence, financial management, persuasion, and resilience. These are the in-demand soft skills. Now, let's be honest. Let's take a look at, do we actually match with anyone? Yes. How many? 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Even if you match 3 out of 10, it's pretty decent. Not everyone's expected to match all the soft skills, but yes, these skills can be nurtured, these skills can be learned. So if you don't have any of these, we can work towards including these in our personality, in our resumes. Okay. So just to give you an example, presentation skills. If you don't know how to present, that's fine. There are millions of videos these days that one can watch on social media or otherwise. And when it comes to presenting formally or officially, you can definitely take help of various aids that are available. Okay. And this is something that one can work upon. Okay. This is one of the easiest ones that you can work upon and include in your personality. Yes, Nitish, which one would you like to learn?
Well, like I said, I'm more into innovation, like creativity, but I would get like this is divided into two sections, guys, in the strategic thinking section and innovation section. So it would be good if you have a mix of everything, even though you are not good at it, a minimum knowledge would really make a difference. So I would say a mini percentage of everything to make it like a full plate, right? You never know which skill will be important to you. For example, you if you know mentoring, so there would be certain scenarios where you are supposed to mentor your particular team member or certain clients or customer. Mentoring can really help you. Negotiation, especially when it comes to deals. So a little bit of everything, I would say. I won't select only particular because as you properly said that everything has its own significance and importance in the industry. So I would say a mix of everything. What about you? Would you have also a mixed platter or you're gonna stick to one or two? Oh, are you there? Can
Yes,
you hear me?
Nitish. Yes,
So
now I
what
can.
is your thoughts? Like, are you going to have like a mixed platter or are you gonna select one skill out of this two or two?
Well, if for the benefit of participants, if I have to say the kind of soft skill that is easiest to learn, I think out of all is presentation skills. Yeah. Because see, resilience comes with time, emotional intelligence also builds with time. Yeah. Negotiation, mentoring, critical thinking, these are all aspects that one needs to work upon and they kind of become your personality within time. However, out of all, I think critical thinking and presentation skills are something that one can kind of become easily adapted to. So yeah.
Correct.
All right, now Nitish, moving on to the next slide, we
Next
have a
poll.
poll. Yes, the final poll, I think,
Yes.
Nitish.
This one
Final
more is
poll.
there, but
There's
yeah.
one more. Okay.
So,
All right.
would
Go
you
ahead,
mind if I
please.
read this?
No, not at all. Please go ahead.
So, guys, the poll is here after we discuss about the attire and the interpersonal skills. Okay, so this is a very interesting question as well as one of those questions which you might have come across. If you could connect with someone in your industry for advice or mentorship, who would you choose? I'm repeating the question. If you could connect with someone in your industry for advice or mentorship, who would you choose? The options are A, successful entrepreneur. Second option is a seasoned professional in your field. Option three, a thoughtful leader or an influencer. And the fourth option is a peer with a similar career aspirations. So Ruchika, what do you think? Like if you could connect with someone from your industry, who would that be and why?
Um, wow. I think a seasoned professional in our field, Nitish.
Yeah.
Why? Why
Why?
that they can give us tips? Yes, how to succeed.
How to
What
succeed,
else?
have seen.
Ibrahim
Correct,
Khan
correct,
has
correct.
selected option C. All right. And
Yeah,
for all
yeah.
those people asking, will they get certificates? Yes, you will on your registered email ID. And please watch Uni Athena page on YouTube and LinkedIn, where you can get access to this video and to our previous video where we've spoken about resume workshop one in detail. Yeah.
Wait.
Yes, Nitish, would you like to see the answers?
Yes, sure, sure, sure. I would love to see the answer. What our responses are. 57% wants a seasoned professional in that particular field. See, everybody wants to upgrade in their career, right?
Yes, why not?
Yeah. But again, everybody has different options. Like I could even see people wanted a thoughtful leader, people wanted a successful entrepreneur, people want a peer with similar career aspirations. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for again actively participating in this
Participating.
poll.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. Now we are gonna go to the next final few topics, which is networking email. Ruchika, would you like to
Sure.
guide?
Now, yes, yes. Now, what is networking email? We've spoken about how do you maintain your networking relationship or networking equation on the websites. Now, this is the similar way. However, you send an email, and these can be the examples where you reach out to people known, not know them personal well enough personally, however, have heard of them, or they were your peers or acquaintances or relatives or neighbor or a family friend. Now you're reaching out to them for either, working with them or, planning to mentor with them, learn with them. Now, how do you do that? So you either write aspiring writer looking for mentorship, marketing senior interested in career advice, the name of mutual connection. Let's say you and I know Nitish. So we'll say Nitish suggested that I contact you. Yeah. Following up from, let's say you met at a cafe ABC, then you can say following up from cafe ABC. Also want to highlight that there is probably no guarantee that they would respond to this email because most of the emails can probably go to spam folder also, or people who are busy in their working life may not respond to that. However, this is an attempt that you can make for you to be in touch with people. Is that correct, Nitish?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just a way of connecting with people whom we want, like how we go to different parties and other things, like where we connect with people. You might interact with a lot of people, but the idea is to just to get, it's like how LinkedIn we do virtually, but here we just go out, socialize with
Email form.
people, email form. Yeah.
Yes. Moving on to the next slide, please. Now we spoke about what were the correct examples. Now these are some of the incorrect examples. Do you have some time to network? If that is how the subject line going to be of your email, the chances of the person reaching out to you are really bleak. Okay. Would be great to connect with you. Can you help me with? Can I have some of your time? Well, you're asking a question, you're asking time in that question. Probably no. Okay. So please be wise when you choose your words. It's always good to reach out using a connection. Like in the previous slide, we saw catching up from ABC, taking the conversation ahead. Or Nitish suggested I email you. So, the moment person sees a connect, the probability of them responding to the email is higher than these. Okay. Now moving on to the next slide, please. Yes, Nitish, would you like to take this up, please?
Sure. So how Ruchika had mentioned you about the right way, I mean the right examples and the incorrect examples, what to say to a person when you are having a network email and what not to say. So this is one of the example, right? I'm just talking about a networking email sample to someone you know, right? You are just giving an example where the subject line would be great meeting you at Expo City conference, something like that you're gonna put. And email body is like, hey Sarah, this is Anna. I work as a junior architect at Spaces and Us. It was truly a pleasure to hear your thoughts about green architecture and the future of our cities regarding nature last weekend at the Expo City conference. I recall that you were interested in learning how we are applying the same concepts we talked about in our work. Here, last month's newsletter on the topic, I think you will find it interesting. How are things going on with you and your work at the moment? I would like to hear more about it over coffee if you have the time. Best regards, Anna. So, as you may see here, the particular person has really talked about where she works from, what is the things which she really liked about that particular person, and she really wants to connect or collaborate with that person and She only suggested that because she's more interested, she only suggested that, okay, I would like to know more about coffee if you have time. So that means that person is really invested in that particular person's company or that particular individual. So this is like a structure where you can network or write an email to certain people whom you know. This is like a sample. I hope everybody got an idea how the structure looks, and it looks very professional in the same way. Could you take to the next slide, please? Ruchika, would you like to explain this sample of networking email?
Sure, sure. So, to a stranger, when you send an email to a person you don't know, okay, you probably have their name from internet, from LinkedIn, Glassdoor, any of these websites. So the subject line is passionate journalist looking to exchange ideas. Sounds good. And how do you start a conversation by addressing that person's name? Hello, Dean. My name is Ria. So you're introducing yourself. I'm an investigative journalist based in Seattle. Yeah. Currently, we're working at the newspaper where you started your career. So this is a good line which will try and build that connect with Dean. Okay. Dean, now when reading this line, probably will feel you know, emotional connect and may respond to the email. So this is how you're building the connect. Okay. Your path in journalism has always been an inspiration, and especially so after reading your book on investigative practices and why we need investigative journalism. So you're highlighting the positives, you're praising the person. The probability is slowly becoming higher and higher for that person to respond to you. Yeah, because the email is written in such a beautiful way. Okay, your thoughts on the latter have motivated me to continue my master's degree and build a career. I would love if we could meet up and exchange some ideas, and especially on how investigative journalism is different from when you were starting. Please let me know if you have some time for coffee or tea. So, this is a beautiful line where the persons express the desire to catch up, but it's not, there's no pressure also. It is very loose that, you know, if you have some time for tea or coffee, looking forward to hearing from you. All right. So this is a great example of how a networking email should be. All right. Let's move on to the next slide. I think this we can move on to the next one, Nitish. We've covered two examples. Yeah. Yes. Okay. This is a follow-up example. Nitish, do you want to take this up?
Yes. So this is like a follow-up example where you're just following up. Let's say you just sent an email to a stranger or the person you know, just to have like a quick checkup stating that, like how you can see here, dear Emily, I hope you're doing well. I'm writing to make sure the email I sent you last week didn't end up in your spam folder. Thank you again for your time. So here you're just having like a follow-up thing, saying that I hope you have received my mail. I hope you have not gone to the junk folder. But again, having said that, it doesn't have to only talk about spam folder. You can just mention that I hope you have received my email on the, you can just write the subject line or the cause or certain things which you discuss in the first email. You can even mention the date and the time, maybe like 10 days before on particular date, I hope you received that kind of a thing. So this is like a follow-up email exam. And here we have, Ruchika, the final poll of the workshop. So can we have the poll, please? Right. So here we have come across the end of our polls and the topic also. After this, we are going to discuss one last, which a lot of people were asking in the last topic, which is all about job scams. So let me just read out the question for everyone. Have you entered a fishy job offer? I repeat the question. Have you encountered a fishy job offer? The options are, yeah, smell fishy from the start. Second, nah, but I've heard about those sneaky scams. Third, you bet, reported it faster than lightning. The last is not sure, but I always keep my scam radar on high alert. Ruchika, I really love the way these options are displayed. It's so funny and super informative at the same time. Don't you agree?
Absolutely, 100%. And I will answer, I know you're going to ask me, but I'll answer. I think all options are pretty interesting, but the first one is my favorite. Yep, smelled fishy from the start.
Got to know, like, something is fishy. This person is not giving me right
Always
information.
too good to be true, no, Nitish? So, yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I would say like all the options are interesting, but it could be for me, it would be a combination of first and fourth. Yes, I smell the fishy from the start because you had that experience, but now we are also keeping our scam radar alert on this thing. We know like, oh, we have certain what do you call it? Certain signals or certain things which we knew from the past. Now we are
triggers.
alert, like okay, triggers, yeah. Red flags, I would say. We know.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So we can see the answers for the poll. Yeah, a lot of people have heard about those sneaky scams.
See, Nitish,
Wow,
we
interesting.
are vibing.
We are
Yes,
vibing.
yes,
But I like the way
36%.
I really upload for this five people. You're like, you bat reported it faster than lightning. They have already
Yes,
solved the mystery. We want people like you. Please help us. Yeah. But yeah,
absolutely.
having said
All
that,
right.
we have come to the final topic of the day, which is job scam. Ruchika, would you like to explain everyone what the
Sure,
job scam is all
sure.
about?
All right. So, I'm sure we've heard of the term job scams. We've come across certain lucrative job opportunities on our emails that were too good to be true. Okay. However, having said that, there are certain people who probably are not able to spot it, which is fine. Not everyone can do everything. Now, these are certain, again, like I said, tips or pointers or how you can protect yourself from a fake job offer. Okay. First things first, when you see the name of the company, please use the advantage of Google. Research the company, whether it exists or it doesn't exist. Okay. After that, you should look for company reviews. Let's say if ABC company, even if it does exist, what are the reviews? How many people have written about it and what is it that they've written? Yeah. Were they also in the same boat and they also had the similar situation wherein they were asked to pay for a test? There are emails of these kinds wherein the opportunity is so lucrative that even if you think, oh, it's just $50, it's nothing, I just want to pay and get the test, get certified, and I will get an amazing job opportunity. But for all you know, that $50 from you and that multiplied into many is the scam that we are talking about. Okay, so please be wary of it. Please be careful. Now, be suspicious of any unsolicited job offers. Use only trusted sources and verify information. Okay. Now, how do you do that? Okay. We do get emails that are tempting, but do we fall for it? We should be very careful. Now, let's talk about the warning signs that come along with these job scams. Next slide, please. All right. So, continuing with what I said, an amazing and wonderful interview request comes from a high-end company, but only has a basic email address. Okay. That's for you to think that whether I should be responding to that email or not. So be careful. Okay. Now, you are asked to share your personal data during hiring, including your social security number, date of birth, and bank account information. That should be the first red flag going on that, yes, this is not correct. There's something fishy. Okay. Recruiter charming you into paying an application or job training fee, like I mentioned. Then again, it should be a red flag. Should I be paying for this? Okay. Job is offered quickly where you've never met or seen the interviewer or been to the office. Let's say today, Nitish, you get an email right now saying you've been offered a job. Shouldn't your antenna go up? Yeah. You've
yes,
never met the
yes.
interviewer. How can someone offer you a job opportunity without having even met you? Okay. So these are the warning signs that you need to look for. All right. Okay. So
Yes. Having
that's
said
that.
that,
Yes.
that's the end of our workshop, guys. I hope we have managed to give you a lot more insights on the agenda which we discussed in the beginning. We try to cover most of the aspects, and for certain things which was not discussed here, part one is always available in the Uni Athena YouTube page. But having said that, this is something which a lot of people might have come across, a lot of things people don't discuss about it. So we just covered, we just felt like this is something which we knew and we would like to share to all of them so that everybody gets benefit out of that. And we would love to know your feedback about the same. So I'm going to paste a feedback link form in the chat box right now. So what you guys need to do is you just need to click on that thing and just put your feedback on those questions. I'm just going to put that feedback form link on your chat box. So please click on the link and let us know how you felt the whole session. Your feedback really help us to create more content, more data, more insights to you guys so that everything can be done.
Yes, thank you everyone for the amazing participation. I know we've stretched beyond the time limit, but thank you so much for staying with us till this time. We really, really appreciate. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in the polls and asking questions. We hope to have answered the questions as much as possible. Nitish, I think people have mentioned that they need a permission to open the
Just a
form.
sec, just a sec, guys. Just let me just double check.
All right. While we look into it, we can quickly. I can see if there are certain questions that I've missed. I can answer. Let's see. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes, we are aware. Just give us a minute, please. Do you have any questions? How can I send the body letter when sending an application through email? So you to attach the cover letter or a body letter as you attach your resume in the email. I hope this answers the question that you were looking for. Yeah, everyone just give us a minute, please. We are working on it. Thank you so much for your patience. Is it recommended to write a follow-up letter after the interview or one just waits? Well, I would say yes. However, use your own discretion, use your own judgment. If you think the interview went well, then in today's times, it's always better to pick up the phone and get in touch with the HR of the company and ask directly. Yeah, we always get that feeler or the vibe how the interview went. Yeah. Now, if you can click on the link, Nitish, has that been rectified?
Yes. I have sent a rectified link. I wonder why it's not opening. It should have been opened because from our side it is proper. Maybe it's the network, or maybe it's we are in the Zoom link, or maybe I don't know. Permission. Let me just quickly check. In the meantime, guys, we are open to question and answer round now. Though we have limited time, we will try to answer certain questions. And if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. And you can even raise a hand for the questions. We can even take live questions, Ruchika, like last time.
Yes.
So
So
you
there is
just
a
raise your
question.
hand.
If one company has two job opportunities at the same time, can someone apply to both jobs if you qualify? Absolutely, yes. You can use the raise hand option if you have a question. Nitish, can you post the link again, please?
Yeah. So
The
Ruchika,
link
just
is
the thing,
not there.
I have sent you an email stating with the form. Have you received it? And try to open that. It's opening. So guys, as you
One
know,
second.
technical glitches happens everywhere. My apologies.
I think it's happening. Let me see by switching the account, Nitish.
Please have try that. I have shared you that because it's opening from your side. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for being active throughout the session. And I could see a lot of people were asking certain questions, which I would like to answer that here till the time Ruchika fixes the form. First is you were asking like, is CV and resume same? Both are same. It's just that it is like a different synonym. Certain place it is called CV, certain place it is called resume. Now, so freshers have also asked like what kind of questions which they can expect. Of course, there are certain questions which we already discussed in the part one, but here we just wanted to mention that this is like your first interview because you are a fresher. That's why the fresher tag is there. So we would like you to be more confident because that is the first thing because you are actually entering the work world, right? So just get your facts correct. Fact correcting, just make sure that you prepare your bio, like where you're from, a little brief about what are your interests or what are some of the qualities which you have. Because they don't expect you to give like an out of the box answer. They just wanted to know the person because you are a fresher. You would love to learn. So bring that learning spirit in you. That is something which we all trying to know.
Nitish, I think everyone's not able to access it still because on my personal ID it still says you need permission.
Really, what is it showing?
Uh,
Some technical.
yeah,
I
maybe
don't
some
know.
glitch.
Maybe it's a technical
Uh,
glitch because from the thing it is doing. I don't know. Just give me a sec, guys. Settings and everything
I
is
think,
proper.
Nitish, we can
Maybe
email them along with the
email them.
certificate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
thank you
guys,
so
for that
much.
error. Sorry for that
Yes.
technical glitch.
Thank you,
An
James.
IT person can really save this, like we discussed. That what
All
are the
right. Well,
problems? This is the problem we are facing.
yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for your participation till now. Really, really appreciate for all you staying on for a little longer than anticipated. But I hope you had great takeaways from this interactive session. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone, and have a great weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. We will come up with more interesting insights. We just want your support and love like this, and we'll come back, right, Ruchika, with new interesting
Absolutely.
concepts and everything. Till then, happy learning, happy weekend, and miss us.
All right. And do
Okay,
visit our
bye.
Uni Athena page so you can access the video. Thank you.